Hey, what's up? Silas here. This is a video I've been thinking about making for a while. It's about, I want to say, first world protests and the things that stem from that. There's this meme that's been going around online called first world problems, where it's just some woman crying. I'll put one on the screen right now. You can check out. It's just a woman crying, and then she says something like, "The air conditioning in my room is too loud," and I don't know if that's actually one. I might actually make one because I've that's something I've observed in the first world. Like when you live in a more modern house, sometimes you have things like the fridge, you have things like the air conditioning, you have things like that that are loud. That's this ambient noise. Here in New York City, there's almost constantly an ambient noise going on, just the background of the city moving, the cars, the buildings, and things like that. So it's something that you kind of only notice when you're in the first world. So with this first world problems thing, it's supposed to be a thing indicating that, oh, this is not really a problem in the grander scheme of things if you go to a global scale, but it's a problem in the first world due to the benefits and, let's say, privileges of being in a first world. For you to complain about the air conditioning, for me to notice that the air conditioning is loud, I have to have an air conditioning unit to begin with, which is something that maybe many people in the world would benefit from having. So for me complaining about that, that makes it seem like a first world problem that should be kind of mocked in a certain way. So to add to this now is the first world protests. I've been involved with looking more and more into politics. I've been attending different political events here in the States. I've been just looking into the political process and not understanding how not understanding how people are activated and how some aren't. So this could be an issue of first world politics. Probably going to use that as a title for this blog. I mean this video. So when it gets to this point, I've been going to these events, starting with the inauguration. I went to the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. I'm going to have a video up. I mean, I should have put this video up for a while, but I'm going to have a video discussing the inauguration and, more importantly, I think for this video, the Women's March that I'd attended right after it. Now, at the Women's March, I was kind of going to the march. I was just down. I was thinking, why am I going to this place? I mean, why are these people so upset? Because I had just been there. I'd been following the political campaigns. I've been following the US presidential political campaign from pretty much the start. I remember talking to one of my friends at the very beginning. He's involved in politics, and I was like, yeah, like, who do you think's going to win? You know, I was thinking, okay, it's probably going to be like Ted Cruz, Carly Fiorina, because I was thinking that's checking enough of the check boxes. So that's my base understanding of politics at the start, was at that level. I didn't really think there was going to be a chance with someone like Trump. I thought, like, guys, you mean the guy from the guy from The Apprentice, the Miss America guy? That guy is going to be the president? No way. So moving on from then, following the roller coaster thing and just being like, you can't really underestimate this guy. You can't really say he's just another politician. It was either you're going to have business as usual or business, and to me that gave him like that gained some support from me. From him going against the media narrative, that gained some support from me. From him exposing the monoparty that I'd already seen, where I was like, I'm not interested in politics that much because Republicans, Democrats, what's the big difference? For him actually showing that this could actually be a difference, that gained some support from me. For me thinking this effect could help the rest of the world to show that you can break up something so established, something so strong, something so embedded into the system and shake things up in an actual way without being necessarily violent, without needing a military coup, without devolving into just inanity and just without devolving. I mean, you could actually have progress, actual progress in a way. Expose the media, return the power and the ability to communicate and share information to the people. So to see the reaction from so many people, to consider it to be so negative, and I'm wondering, how can you guys have all this? Have somebody who's coming and saying, I'm going to make America great again. I'm looking out for you guys over those guys. And have them go out and react in the way that they did and just, oh, this is horrible. I don't want anything to do with this. That's, to me, was first world protests. And at the Women's March, heading down there, I'm sitting there on the train. It's something I repeat over and over again. It's going to be some adult language here, because they had the hats on. They had these hats on, and I remember when I first saw this thing being proposed. This, excuse my language, but the pussy hat thing. And I'm going down there in a train and the subway right after being down there with some friends at the inauguration, enjoying that, seeing the Americans there, seeing people from other countries there, just seeing people just being happy and be like, this is cool, we're here, we're doing this. But the next day, having all these people descend onto the Capitol, onto the nation's capital, and I know a lot of them were so sure that Hillary Clinton was going to win, so they had already said, we're going to go down for the inauguration, we're already going to buy tickets, we're already going to take days off. So they're already planning on going, and then after they found out she wasn't going to win, they're just like, okay, we're going to go down anyway and protest. And I know a lot of the people came from the DC area, from the neighboring areas, but there was still just all these people on the train. You just see them, the looks on their faces, and wearing these hats is like really old women, really young women, just men, some men. And you're just thinking, why are these women wearing these hats? Why are they walking around saying you shouldn't objectify women? A lot of these women are the kind of women who say women shouldn't be objectified, and then they turn themselves into their genitalia. They physically objectify themselves, and I'm like, look, why are these older women, why are these people walking around trying to evoke this imagery in people? Then I thought, okay, it's bad enough with the older women. I was like, this is horrible, they should know better. And then I noticed there's children doing this. These so-called adults were deciding to put on these objectifying genitalia hats onto children. And that gave me just such a sickening feeling. And I was like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go and participate and see how horrible this whole spectacle is? But then one of my friends sent me some photos. He was already on location at the start of the march, and he was just picking up signs and kind of making his own signs or pretending to be part of them and just trolling them and be like, okay, let's just walk along with them and see if they buy it. And they end up doing it. So I get there, I get more excited. Okay, I'm here. I'm going to meet my friend there. And then I decided to get there. I get a sign of my own, and then on one side I write Donald Trump is a white male, going off this meme with this white male meme. I'll probably leave a link to that too, where there was a guy who was out talking, ended up actually talking to this guy because he was hired by InfoWars, and then he did the interview for the Sergeant Pepe's group that I was part of, filming a video for InfoWars contest. But anyway, small world how these things kind of connect together. But that guy had been interviewing some liberals, some people protesting, and someone was like, "You're a white male," and then somebody else was like, "Are you kidding me?" So it was this kind of meme that came from there. So I was like, Donald Trump is a white male. Why else are they protesting? I thought, okay, people are going to know this is a lie. They're going to know I'm trolling them. I'm writing the sign, and people come up to you, like these old lady while I was writing the sign. She's like, "That's a great sign." I was like, I can't believe this is going to work. And then the other side, I wrote first world protests. And I've been seeing this over and over again. I go to events. I've been going to different events since then. And the last one I went to was this DACA protest. I'm going to post a video for that up soon too. But I went to this DACA protest, and they were talking about KKK. They're cheering. They have this setup. They have signs being put out. It was exactly like a concert. It made me feel like this is a concert, and that's something I noticed at that Women's March. There was a time we were walking around following these masses of people. We got around to this area, and then I'm like, seeing this crowd kind of stopped by these two streets, these cross streets, packed in. Then I'm hearing a loudspeaker going, people are cheering, and I'm like, this feels like a concert. I'm asking my friend, this feels like a concert. Like, is that Alicia Keys on the PA system? And then she starts singing. I'm like, this is Alicia Keys. This is like a concert to these people. Some people are out there like a concert. Then you have the other spectrum of it, where you have the Antifa type people who are just live action role playing, being these revolutionaries. Then you have the celebrities come in who are just virtue signaling, like they're just virtue signaling like it's the most important, down to earth, salient moment of their lives. And I'm just looking at these people's faces when I go to these things. I look at the looks they have on the face, and then just the other day I was posting about post-election violence in Kenya, and I was looking through the stories and just thinking about other things I've experienced and seen. And there was this picture that I'm going to put up on the screen now. If you're just thinking about it, it's I don't know how to really get this picture out and just why that picture bothered me. I mean, I get it. I get that people want to seem like they're part to really have some connection. And I have a Kenyan background, but I've spent a little time in Kenya. But I saw this photo and I was like, look, this is some cops. This is a lady there. This is probably in a very low income area of Kenya, of Nairobi. She was sitting there and you can just look at her face, and that's what can happen from political violence. That's what can happen when things really break down. And to have people act like they really are out there, like they really are out there fighting life and death issues, when they have all these good things, all these positive things that they can actually have if they just go in and actually get the information and learn what's happening. Because you ask these people and you say, okay, why are you here? Educate yourself. No, you just don't know this. They just throw these words out. They don't even care to actually understand the issues. They don't care to understand what's actually being risked, what they could actually lose, what they could actually stand to gain by changing what they're thinking about. I mean, if something really is that important, why don't you know about it? Why don't you try to make the case for people? Why is he out there with these smiles in your face like it's just some picnic or somebody's party, or it's... You just look at the look on the face of this lady in this picture. And she's not thinking, I need to take a selfie. She's not thinking, oh, this is going to make a nice photo op. She's not thinking like, oh, this is going to be cool. This is going to get me so many likes, or, oh, I can't believe I did this. This is awesome. There's no posing being done here. This is somebody maybe thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of this alive. I don't know if it's even, she's probably not thinking who she voted for. She's probably not thinking of who's going to see this photo. She's probably just thinking, how do I get home? How do I get back safe? How do I get out of this? You have the cops there who I know, people malign police in developing countries and other places. I know there's issues with people, but those cops are there also just trying to keep the peace. Then you have situations here in America where cops are being told to stand down, people are taking selfies, people are getting spat on, people are getting bike locks hit on them, cars are being driven into people. For what? You have the ability for discourse. Okay, so I'm going to finish with this last picture. And this is one thing I think I've been noticing by being at these events, is just this picture of... There's something very macabre about these situations. Is it macabre? I don't know that word. I really like the word, but it's a kind of a word where I hardly ever actually say it out loud. And maybe that's a thing. There's something that we feel we like, things we understand, but we never say these things out loud. We never voice them. We never try to package them and put them into a visual, or put them into some kind of not a narrative, but into some kind of communicative way. And that's what I'm asking you guys out there. If you guys like my content, if you guys have had some of these thoughts, if you guys have noticed any of these things that I may be talking about or that you think may be pertinent, find a way to communicate that to other people. Go out, if you truly care about something, go out and see something and be like, if this is something I even think is a bit important, if I have a little time, if I'm walking, if I'm in line in a grocery store, if I'm just in an Uber or in a cab transiting somewhere, if I'm in some form of transit, instead of just checking some comedy or some sports blog, look up on that issue. Try to find out, what is this issue? Why is this issue important to me? Why is it not important to other people? And try to see if there's a way you can either translate that issue to somebody or share something about yourself to somebody. Because there's this picture that's been on the screen now, this picture of this bear with this human smile. And that's what I noticed at this place. It almost sends shivers up my spine, going to these places, just seeing these people, these looks on their faces, these smiles, and these... It's just like, what are you guys doing here? It just seems like this photo. This is one of the best photos I've seen to actually encompass what I'm thinking about when I see this. To see the smiles that are just so out of place. Where it's like, yes, I get smiles. Yes, I get teddy bears. It's like, yes, I get selfie culture, I get that kind of ability, I get being happy about certain things. I also get the political issues, having concern about that. But seeing those two together, when somebody's like talking about, yes, we need to stop the Nazis, and then they're taking a selfie while they're doing it and posing in that kind of situation, it seems like this smile. It seems like this sickening kind of, those things don't fit. And yeah, that's the video for today. If you guys have noticed any of this before or have any examples of it, it's going to be links below. I guess there's this one video I think I recently saw that kind of also pushed me over to this. Was at these protests I had been to in New York City when Donald Trump came here. There was some celebrities there that were like just chanting at the building, and they also just did smiles and self-ingratiating looks, and feeling they seemed to be getting out of it was just really, really disturbing. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. Like, share, and subscribe. It's going to be links below. I'll open the t-shirt store, some merchandise store and stuff. So try to get something else out of this. But yeah, till next video. This is Silas. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.